Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment prohibits the use of funds to take retaliatory actions against states that disagree with the EPA mandate pollutant reduction goals that have been imposed upon them by the EPA. Importantly, this amendment would not prevent the EPA from working with states to restore things like the Chesapeake Bay, which is what the EPA is supposed to be doing. In 1985, the states in the Chesapeake Bay region recognized the need to address pollutants in the bay, and through their own initiative, came together to conduct cleanup efforts. These state-driven efforts were largely successful. Water quality improved almost 50% from 1985 to 2010 without the EPA's involvement. But in 2010, the EPA seized the state's authority to determine their own method of compliance and threatened to take over the water quality plans. This 2010 power grab, known as the Chesapeake Bay TMDL, Total Maximum Daily Load, directly contradicts the intent of the Clean Water Act. The Clean Water Act clearly acknowledges state authority in water quality and requires cooperation, which is happening through the Chesapeake Bay Commission, rather than coercion between the states and the federal government. These coercive methods have been tried and have failed. Water quality improvement has slowed, and last year, the EPA acknowledged the 2025 goals likely cannot be met. The failures we've seen since federalization of the Bay cleanup efforts necessitate the reevaluation of this model and a return to the cooperative model that led to the early improvements and actual success. I reserve. Again, let me clarify. Prohibits the use of fund to take retaliatory actions. Retaliatory. We're already working together. We're working with the EPA. As you said, this is a regional partnership and has been a regional partnership. This isn't about industry getting a free pass to pollute anywhere. This is about the heavy-handed coercive tactics of the EPA on states that want to do this, that got into this because this is what they wanted to do. We don't need the EPA. By the way, if you go to some of these plants, treatment plants, the EPA's requirements, you know what they are, Mr. Chairman? Beyond the limits of technology. You've got to treat the water to beyond the limits of technology. You think about what that statement says. It says you can't get there from here. But the EPA is still going to fine you if you can't get there from here while acknowledging you can't get there from here. All we're saying is don't spend money on the extortionary, retaliatory, coercive tactics. Spend the money, if you're going to spend it, on actually working together to clean up the bay. I reserve. Okay? Well, I don't know what else you need to hear. We're not against the EPA. We're not against cleaning up the bay. We're not against spending the money to clean up the bay. What we're against is the retaliatory actions that don't help clean up the bay and waste our money. And by the way, since we're talking about it, while Pennsylvania continues to try to get beyond the limits of technology that the EPA acknowledges, some of the other states in the compact aren't interested, but aren't fined under these retaliatory practices. This is punishment to some states, but not to others, which we see as unfair, as you might imagine. I reserve.